Okay, so for those of you that don't know, my name is Charlotte Bird and I'm the Active Aging Officer at Herts Sports Partnership, and I'm in the lovely position of leading Live Longer Better in Hertfordshire. So Live Longer Better in Hertfordshire is a collaborative movement, and we want it to be very much everyone in Hertfordshire who's doing fantastic things to help older adults to live longer better, to be involved. We want to raise your profile. We want to connect you to others who have got a similar mission. So please get involved in the network if you're not already, but I know a lot of people who are on this call already are. We have a platform called Moving More, and that is sort of what this session today is linking towards, because that's our Hertfordshire Activity Finder. So just before we share the actual session details, sort of give a brief introduction into the aim behind these Getting Active In sessions and why we're using Moving More. So Getting Active in East Herts and Broxbourne is the theme today, but we've got one coming up next month, which will be around Three Rivers and Dacorum, and we're going to cover each local authority of Hertfordshire. This session is targeted towards citizens of Hertfordshire, so they can find out what's going on near them and what they might want to be involved in, and also what we like to call in Live Longer Better language, enablers. So those who support older adults to get engaged in things, to be more active, and they are supporting them and enabling them to live longer better. So there's a wealth of opportunities going on in Hertfordshire, and I thought it would be helpful if we could come on quickly and hear about what's going on. So Moving More as a platform is www.movingmore.co.uk, and it's a standalone website, and it's promoting local opportunities. The Activity Finder, although it was launched a few years ago, there's updates all the time, and at the moment we've got new sessions going on every day. And we're making improvements on a monthly basis, and we're always open to feedback on that. So if anyone who uses the Activity Finder or doesn't use Activity Finder because they find something difficult about it, then you can always drop me an email, and I'll be more than happy to feed that back, and we look to make those improvements. The key outcomes for Moving More is to make greater awareness of the sessions that are going on, so more people can move more often. Okay, so open data is what sets this Activity Finder out from other existing activity finders, and the benefit of open data is that it doesn't stagnate, and you can be confident that what you are signposting someone to is still existing and it's up to date, and they're not going to turn up and the lights are off because the time of the class has changed. So there's other really good examples of where open data has been used successfully, and the key one is the holiday industry. So websites like Expedia or hotels.com, they use open data, and what that means is other booking platforms can open their data. It doesn't mean that GDPR or anything like that is compromised, but it means that people's organisation or session details are pulled into the Activity Finder, and it means that it's available in more search engines and search tools. So it's been very successful in the holiday industry, and that's what we're trying to plug the gap in terms of the physical activity sector. As we know, social prescribing and the things like that have really kicked off. So we want to make it as easy as possible for enablers and citizens to find out what's available. Hope that helps. And the idea is you're going to be able to reach a much larger community because your activities and your sessions will be displayed in a more public and open platform. And the idea is the Hertfordshire specific Activity Finder will become the people's go-to platform. I think I've spoken enough about Moving More now. So I've just popped the slide templates that people have sent back to me in terms of their sessions into an order. So no particular order either. So I'll see what comes up first. And if you're on the call, then please feel free to unmute and talk through. But I know there's a few people that aren't on the call, and I'm going to talk on their behalf. So, do we have Ian Robinson in our call at the moment? Possibly not. I wonder if there's a way I can, oh yeah, I can see here. Okay, no, we don't have Ian yet. So Ian is part of Hertfordshire Badminton organisation, and there's a couple of older adult social badminton sessions. So the first one here is in Cheshunt at Goffs Academy. And this is more of a social event. It's not, it's suitable for beginners and intermediate, so you can progress. And they, as it says here, you get 2 visits free, and then you pay on a monthly subscription. So that's the Cheshunt session. And then we also have a session in Hoddesdon at John Warner Sports Centre. Now, if you're into badminton, or you know someone who's into badminton, then keep these guys in mind, because we're developing an active ageing bid at the moment for further badminton opportunities across the county for older adults. So if you want to be kept in the loop with upcoming badminton sessions, it'd be a really good idea to sign up to the Live Longer Better in Hertfordshire newsletter, and I'll keep you up to date on how that goes. They are our badminton sessions. And then we have the lovely health walks. So Claire, if it's convenient, do you want to tell us all about the walks?
Yeah, sure. So Hertfordshire Health Walks is a scheme. It's a long time scheme. It's been 20 years or so when it was first set up. It's organized by Countryside Management Service, which is a department of County Council, and walks are delivered by trained volunteers. We offer 11 walks in East Herts, in Hertford, Bengio, Bishop Stortford, and some of the villages in between. They range from a 20-minute gentle walk for those who are inactive or who are returning to exercise from injury or illness, to a longer walk up to 90 minutes at a brisker pace and with some hills. So here, I mean, as you all, I'm sure you all know, walking is the simplest form of exercise there is, and it's free. It's suitable for all different abilities, and it allows you to go outside and enjoy the environment with different people. It's very social, and regular brisk walking has proven health, social, and well-being benefits. Some people, especially those people maybe who have a long-term health condition like diabetes, possibly high blood pressure, will potentially experience a reduction in reliance on medication if they do regular walking on, more than once a week. In Hertford, on this slide, we have a first steps walk from the Seal Farm area, and that's on Thursday at 10 a.m. So I do encourage people to refer to that walk. It's brand new. We also have an existing walk, which is a grade 1 walk up to 30 minutes, and that leads from the pretty much the middle of Hertford. Do you want to change next slide?
Yeah.
And we also have similar walks in Bishop Stortford, in Castle Park, and there is a first steps walk from the Castle Park, and that's at about 10:15. And then there's another walk after that. That's the grade 1 walk. And then another walk after that at 12 noon, where you go a lot longer, up to 45 minutes. If you want to change to the next slide.
Of course.
And
sorry, I went over 2.
Yep, here we are. That's fine. We do have a selection of walks that are in the more rural areas, Bengio, Stansted Abbots, and Wadesmill. And these walks are all free, just like the other ones, but this is moderate intensity. So these walks are grade 3, grade 4. They go out into the countryside a lot more. So the one on Mondays, actually, no, it's not on Mondays. The one, there's one in Wadesmill on Thursdays, which is about a 90-minute walk. So we would love to increase the frequency of our walks, set up more first steps walks, which are entry level, but we do need more volunteers. So there are spaces available on our 19th of April training in Hertford. So if you know anyone who'd be interested in sharing their joy of walking and encouraging others to get more active, get in touch with me, claire.pullen@hertfordshire.gov.uk. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. And what I think I particularly like about the Herts Health Walks is because there's a walk leader at the front and at the back that can really increase someone's confidence.
Absolutely.
And if you are sort of signposting someone to that session, I think it gives you confidence that you know there's a bit of safety there and togetherness as a walking session. And I thought this might be a good time for me to share on the Hertfordshire, on Moving More, how you can use it. So this is when you go on movingmore.co.uk, you just press find an activity near me, and then you can put in what location. So I'm going to choose Hertford as an example, as we've just been discussing, and then walking. And there's lots of different types that you can search. And then you press search and it'll come up. So these are all the different walking ones, and it automatically does a 40-kilometre distance. And you can reduce that. And you can filter by price. We're really fortunate that the Hertfordshire Health Walks are free, but there's some that are paid for, as you can see. And you can also filter by age. So we've got a 50+ bracket. So if you're uploading your sessions and these are more targeted towards a 50+ bracket, I'd highly recommend making sure that you tick that as an option when you're uploading your sessions, because we know that a lot of people who are looking on Moving More for specific sessions will click on the age specific section, if that makes sense. So we've got this, the grade 1 walk going from Hertford, as you mentioned. We've also got lots of Nordic walking locally. This was that first steps walk in Seal. There's all sorts. There's a yoga walks in the woods, which I hadn't heard about either. So there's a lot of options. And then obviously we've got a well-being walk as well. So you can find quite a few options on Moving More, but we're really fortunate that we've got these free opportunities too. Okay, so thank you, Claire.
You're welcome.
Now, if it's all right, I saw Leah pop in. Leah, is now convenient to share about strength and balance classes?
Yeah, that's fine. So just an introduction, my name's Leah Casale, in case you haven't met me before. I work for Stevenage Football Club Foundation. We're the charity arm of the football club, so we do quite a lot of community-based projects, not just football, as a lot of people would assume. Oh, my camera is going funny on Zoom, so I just want to come off so that you don't all see me dancing around. Anyway, so one of the programs that I particularly look after is strength and balance. So in other words, these are our falls prevention classes. We don't tend to advertise that out to the participants because they might see it as, well, I'm never going to have a fall, but just due to medical things that they might be challenged with, they are likely to potentially be challenged with maybe having a fall later on in life. So these classes that we have, we've got 10 classes around Hertfordshire, focusing on all of the active local areas. So yeah, we do this in partnership with Heart Sports Partnership, but funded through Public Health. These sessions are free of charge, and what we do is they are a mixture of standing and seated exercises that a participant can do at their own pace. So yeah, it'll get adapted based on what they can and can't do. So we have one of the sessions in Hertford at Hornsmill Community Centre, that is on a Wednesday, and then we have one in Cheshunt at Rosedale Community Centre on a Thursday. So yeah, as I said, they're just light to moderate, sort of a mixture. They're free of charge, and there's no booking. They kind of just turn up, or we'll have referrals, and they'll just come in, have a chat with the instructor, and then they can sort of fill that out. But yeah, I think sort of with the classes, it's just more for them to maintain their independence, and we'll teach them skills within these classes that will, so for instance, if we're teaching them sort of how to do a side lunge, they might be like, why is that going to benefit me? But then they don't realise that they might have to perform that movement if they take the bus, for example. So we teach them all them sort of things, and yeah, just to maintain that independence, get their strength improved, their balance, and yeah, I think that's kind of what it is in a nutshell, but happy for any questions about it.
That's great. Thank you, Leah. As Leah mentioned, we're quite close to these strength and balance classes, and what we really enjoy is we go and speak to the participants every few months and see what their views are on the classes, and a lot of them really feel much more confident and more steady on their feet afterwards. And the best feedback is when someone says, oh, well, I actually had a stumble the other day, but because I've been practicing such and such move in the class, I was able to correct myself, and that is just the best feedback we could possibly get.
Yeah.
So I would highly recommend people signposting to these, because you can do seated and then you can progress as and when you want.
Yeah, sorry, Charlotte, I just wanted to just add, in these classes we do teach people how they would get up from a fall, so that they're not waiting around for that support. I mean, they don't have to do anything involving to get on the floor, but we just demonstrate in the class, or if they feel comfortable enough to get on the floor, we'd help how they'd get back up rather than waiting for that support to come and get them.
Yeah, it's an essential skill, so that's great. Andrew, you have a question?
Yeah, thank you, Charlotte. Just a question for Leah. It's just regarding capacity at the strength and balance classes, because I have referred quite a few of the patients that I see who fall in that kind of falls prevention. They've had a fall, frailty, into the likes of, say, the Cheshunt one at Rosedale Community Church. And it's just really an update as to how much space you have available with the chair-based seated to standing exercises.
So with our venues, we aim for 15 participants for one person. If it exceeds that amount, we usually send a second support down there. Our Cheshunt one is fortunately quite over capacity at the moment, but we are looking at options of setting up a second class within Cheshunt to accommodate, because there are quite a few people coming in for referrals. So some of them have probably come from you, Andrew, which is great, because honestly, these classes, we're having that, it's not an issue, I suppose it's a good issue to have. We're having in all of our sessions, they're going over capacity, so it's just showing that need is there. But yeah, 15 for one person, but we don't kind of cap it at that, because we're happy to send someone down to support any more that go in there.
That's great. And thank you.
It's not set in stone yet, but we're quite fortunate, as you say, Leah, that because these classes are so popular and we have people signposting like yourself, Andrew, that we're able to have conversations about starting new classes. If that's a bit of a hint, then hopefully you can watch this space and I'll update you. Go for it, Rick.
Yeah, thank you, Charlotte. Yeah, Leah, I was just wondering, actually, do you have any like promotional flyers for the Hertford classes that I can drop off in libraries when I have drop-in sessions and things like that, because they're always happy to have it on display?
Yeah, absolutely. I do have some. I can either get Charlotte to put them into an email if there's any minutes that are being taken, or I can just ping them over myself to anyone that would like them. That's absolutely fine. Yeah,
that'd be great. Thank you.
No worries.
If in terms of flyers, paper flyers, they're really helpful, aren't they, when you're meeting people and sharing? And I'm sure there's a few people on this session that would quite like some paper flyers of maybe the health walks, maybe the strength and balance classes, and maybe about moving more itself, and I'll show that a bit later. So what I'll do is I'll send an email to everyone who's signed up afterwards. If you could get back to me with how many copies of the different flyers you'd like and which ones you might like, and an address, I'll get those sent out. Or as a team collectively, we'll get those sent out. So I'll send a group email later on. Thank you. Lovely. So do we have Christina here who does chair yoga? So I'm quite excited to hear about this. Doesn't look like we have Christina in the waiting room. So in Bishop Stortford, there's a community centre called St Michael's Mead, and this is actually quite an accessible community centre. There's plenty of parking outside. There's a chair yoga session going on Fridays, 11 till 12, and then you can have your free taster session. It's £5 drop in thereafter. So there's quite a lot going on at St Michael's Bee Community Centre, actually, which is in Bishop Stortford. So I can't go into any more details than that, I'm afraid. Right, next up we have Lucy Kennedy. Now, Lucy wasn't able to come and join us today, but we did have a few emails. So Lucy is based in Broxbourne, and she runs quite a few different classes. This one is at the United Reformed Church in Broxbourne. It's £5 a go. So this session is called the Mobility and Stretch class, and this is suitable for beginners as well, and she's able to tailor it. So it's mostly seated, and then we can progress as required, or as people are able to then try some standing sessions. So that's with Lucy Kennedy. And another class that she does is on Zoom. It's called Movement and Mobility, and that is light intensity from people's own home. And that's a little bit more standing. So it's standing and seated exercise on Zoom. So the first one was predominantly seated with standing options. I think this one is more of a mixture of roughly half and half standing and seated on Zoom. And that's with Lucy as well. And then there's a specific ladies Keep Fit class that Lucy runs, and that's at the Wormley Scout Hut. Low impact exercise to music and a circuit class. It's a little bit of a different format to the first two mentioned, but it's light intensity and low impact. So that doesn't mean that it's not hard. It means that it's not going to have as much of a strain on the joints. Okay. And then the final one from Lucy is that she leads a social walk. I think Clay would be interested in this, a social walk around Hoddesdon. They meet at the Jubilee shelter, which is opposite the library. And Lucy just does that herself, and it's free of charge to attend. And they go, she says, they walk along paths, pavements, and the park and river for about 50 minutes. So it'd be interesting to know which grade this would fall into, Claire, in terms of the walks, the health walks. It might be a connection with Lucy. Okay. Is there anyone else on the call that has any sessions they want to share? I can see Trisha, I think. Would you like to share some of your classes?
Sorry, I was just trying to find my unmute button. Sorry if it's noisy. We have a motorbike workshop, so there's lots of things in the background. So, yes, I did send slides through, but I don't know if we got those. But yeah, we run a rock and roll club called the Chicken Shack. We've recently launched our own CIC, community interest company, called Motivating, which is about promoting physical and mental well-being through rock and roll, dance classes and events. So that's everything we do. We run 2 dance class sessions in Hertfordshire currently. So one is at Waltham Cross at the Imperial Club on a Wednesday evening, and one is in Wormley on a Monday night, so that's tonight. And we do 2 types of classes. We do what's known as a stroll class, which is low impact exercise to music. It's kind of like walking. It's also like line dancing, to give people an idea if you do any dancing stuff. Which is absolutely, anyone can do anything, and we tailor every class to the participants that come through. And that's a nice way of building up stamina. We've had people come that have got long-term health conditions, people that are recovering, people that just want to get out and socialise. So it's quite a nice, friendly atmosphere. And that is £5 in Waltham Cross. And Wormley, we've got some subsidies with the community centre we're working there, and those classes are £2.50 at the moment. And we've just received some funding for that through the Together Fund, which we're quite excited about. And then the second class we teach is Rock and Roll Jive. So it's a partner dance. You are dancing with someone. You don't have to have a partner. You can come on your own. And again, that is from absolute beginners through to intermediates. And again, each class is tailored to whoever is there. So I can have 20 people in a class or whatever, and I'll still go around each couple and make sure everyone's comfortable with the level that they're at. So we're never sort of forcing anyone to do anything they can't do, and we're always very aware of how people move and what they can't move, and adapting moves to make sure people can do it. And it's all about enjoying the music and getting out socialising. So it's quite a different type of activity because it is more fun and upbeat, and it's good music from the 50s and the modern, more rock and roll stuff. So it gets everyone talking. So we know it benefits both mental and physical well-being. We know we've only just found Mo, all you guys and stuff as well. So this is a new area for us. Like I say, we started running our own club about 9 years ago. Classes came off the back of that 6 or 7 years ago, and now we're moving into how we can actually physically benefit more people, getting out there and teaching more, just because we know how much it helps ourselves.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
brilliant. Thank you, Trisha. Yeah, do you know what? That's right up my street. I love a bit of dancing, so that sounds great. And just out of interest, would it be suitable for if someone wanted to hold on for a bit of support, maybe have like a chair nearby or stand next to a wall, or is it more suitable for those who are confident on their feet?
We can tailor and we can make things different. We have a lady that comes to work with me on a Monday that is currently using a stick because she's getting her mobility back after being laid up for a long time. So she does as much as she can, and if she can't physically do what we're doing, we adapt, or she sits down and just moves her feet while she's seated. So it's not something I've specifically made something for yet, because it's the first occurrence of that, but we're always thinking of different ways of teaching and showing you how to do something. And even if it's getting your feet tapping while you're sitting down and doing something and just getting out of the house for an hour, that's more than enough for us. Just come and socialise and just be around people. And if you have to move while you're there, that's obviously an added benefit. So there's always something we can do to make it easier. Driving, again, is a partner dance. You have to hold someone's hand, you have to be there. And again, there's always adaptations for people that can't turn as easily or have bad shoulders or legs or hips or whatever. So we're always asking those questions to factor in physicality in as much as anything else. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Trisha. Look forward to hearing about those classes and how it all goes. Might even come along and have a go myself. Okay, lovely. Thank you. Is there anyone else? I don't know whether, Andrew, if you're having connection problems or anything, but did you want to share about some of the
Yeah, sure.
Healthy
Yeah,
Hearts?
I have had a few connection
Hearts,
issues.
sorry.
It looks like there's two of me on the call at the moment, which is
Yeah.
a bit odd. Okay, so yeah, my name's Andrew Ricks. I work on a program called Active Hearts in the borough of Broxbourne. The program's been running since 2015 now. So for some time, it seems it's a bit of a legacy program that all came out of sort of public health and HSP. Where basically they created a program where there was 4 districts in Hertfordshire that were chosen to run this program due to having areas of, I suppose, more residents who are inactive, living sedentary lifestyles. So this program was developed called Active Hearts, and it's really about trying to target residents living inactive lifestyles who are at risk of cardiovascular diseases. So through myself, I work as a Get Active specialist, and I've got a bit of a dual role at the moment. I work for Broxbourne Borough Council on the Active Hearts programme, but I also work for the Hoddesdon and Broxbourne Primary Care Network as their health and wellbeing coach. Through Active Hearts and Broxbourne Borough Council, the beauty about the programme is that I am working in a number of the GP surgeries, seeing patients who have been referred, they're at risk of cardiovascular diseases, they're inactive, and it's all about me using motivational interviewing and behaviour change, basically a lot of health coaching, seeing patients face to face, and trying to work with them to help them kind of give them the tools that they need to start being a bit more active so they can take some ownership. With the programme, I mean, to date, we've had over 2,000 referrals, and with the funding that we had originally through the programme, that enabled us to set up a number of low impact exercise classes that we run on a weekly basis for borough residents. So these are things from swimming to health walks to low impact circuits. We've got stretch and relax classes. In consultation, when seeing patients, it's all about trying to signpost them onto something that is tailored for their own ability level. If it's something they're not really interested in that we deliver, then I'll try my best to signpost external sources, whether it is bowls, badminton, for example, the stretch and relax classes, other health walks. With the programme, patients receive 6 weeks free of low impact exercise sessions that we've set up through the programme. And then after the 6 weeks, it's then only £4 a session. So it's very cost effective longer term. Currently, we're delivering 17 classes up and down the borough. And the program, I see patients who've been referred from healthcare professionals, but if there are any residents who kind of meet our 3 inclusion criteria questions, which are they need to be a resident living in the borough of Broxbourne, over the age of 16, and the last one is currently doing less than 30 minutes of physical activity that raises their breathing on a weekly basis, they can automatically self-refer themselves into the program, where I will contact them, book an appointment or a telephone consultation, and yeah, try and help them to get involved in one of the sessions that we deliver. With all of our exercise classes, I've been reluctant to use the activity finder, just knowing that it is kind of similar to your exercise on referral, and I wouldn't want to open the floodgates knowing that there's going to be loads of residents wanting to take part in this. But it's something I'll look into. I'll keep in mind if there is an option where, you know, I can sort of highlight that this is like an exercise on referral and there's inclusion criteria. So yeah, I mean, the program's been running for some time now. We're delivering a lot of exercise classes. I've got a colleague helping me. He's another Get Active specialist, and he's working for one of the other primary care networks in the borough to kind of piggyback on the Active Herts model and get even more residents and patients to live more of an active lifestyle, really.
That's great. Thank you. Andrew, are you able to share a link perhaps to a website so that we are able to view, see some of the details? Because although they're not on the activity finder yet, it would be good to have those details, please. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So
we'd be pleased to know as well, there is on the activity finder, when it says about who to contact in terms of getting in touch with the different sessions, there's a good space there to put about the like referral or eligibility criteria pieces. So it can be helpful if you're signposting as well, you know, what different requirements there are for people to attend classes.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, no problem. I'll have a look and update the platform moving more.
Marvelous, thank you.
Okay.
And then I might pop in the. Oh, there's lots of things going in the chat. Sorry, I haven't been keeping an eye on it. But I might pop in the emails to everyone else a link to the Active Herts page if you want to drop that to me, and you'll pop it in the group chat now. Was also going to share that there's Love to Dance sessions as well. So at the moment, in this area, there's a Love to Dance session in Bramfield, which is East Herts, or it's on the border of Welwyn Hatfield, but I think it's East Herts. And they're on Mondays. There's one in Ware on Fridays, and there's one in Hoddesdon on Tuesdays, and Pangsanger, which is definitely Welwyn Hatfield, but that's on Tuesdays as well, and Cuffley, which is actually Hertsmere, which is on Fridays, but they're in the vicinity. Now the Love to Dance classes range from £5 to £7.35. So there's a slight subsidy for the £5 sessions, and they are 2-hour sessions, and they've got a 20 to 30-minute coffee break in the middle where participants can get a cup of tea, coffee and a biscuit, and those sessions are done without support, and they're more suitable for people who are able to stand independently. There's practice of balance, definitely stamina as well, and they have some annual events for the club attendees. For example, this weekend actually, the Love to Dancers are going to Tottenham Stadium, and they're performing on the pitch all together as a big group. So it might be a nice one to signpost people to who really want to be involved in like a cool social club. So that's our Love to Dance sessions. Now they are the last actual sessions I have slides for. I don't know if anyone else wants to share their sessions who's on the call. I'm just looking at Claire Ewins, and because you're at the Ash Valley Hub, I don't know if there's anything you could share about Ash Valley.
Well, what I was thinking, Charlotte, out loud, we're just working on Dementia Action Week and World Parkinson's Month, and a lot of these activities are probably neuro-friendly. So my request was, because we're working with Adam Howard on creating a little neuro window shop page, so I've got these 20, 30 activities that we kind of rolling keep updating. So the Ash Valley Hub is just like an umbrella name for that. And Guppy's on the call, who's our local social prescriber. So her and I have been working on menopause friendly activities. So I'm wondering if everybody on the call who's got all these wonderful activities could maybe just flag whether they're neuro friendly, menopause friendly, diabetes friendly is the other one. So we've got funding for long-term condition physical activity, and it's not all going out of Grange Paddocks. A lot of it is just tying in with the stuff that's happening, Bounce Back Bess and Hertford, and maybe Claire's work on walking. So it's just really a plea maybe to flag them as those long-term condition friendly. And then during World Parkinson's Month in April and Dementia Action Week in May, we can just keep showcasing them, all these activities, because we think the biggest problem is people getting to things with a buddy. We've asked associated taxis maybe to have a little pot of money where they could draw down if somebody, like we've got members that need to go to Grange Paddocks to swim but can't get there because of their Parkinson's. So thanks to Claire Pullen in her previous role and Will, we've got lottery money to help them get that buddying. So it's less about what I want to promote and more about how we could all bring all those bits together, because Trisha's work down in the Chicken Shack and all these different things. We have people with Parkinson's who live down in Broxbourne who are coming all the way to Grange Paddocks, when really they should be doing stuff down the road. And likewise with Claire, they should be doing stuff in Wadesmill rather than coming all the way to Grange Paddocks to walk. So maybe that's the work we could do together.
Definitely. I'm more than happy for, I'll email everyone after the event, and if you're happy for me to share your email address, Claire, and I'll make a note that we want to particularly flag neuro-friendly, diabetes-friendly, and menopause-friendly sessions, and Parkinson's, I imagine as well. So we can, but I suppose that's neuro-friendly.
Done, a lot of people who have Parkinson's have dementia and vice versa. So rather than flag it as even dementia-friendly or Parkinson's-friendly, if you just call it neuro-friendly, that will help people maybe who have got MS, who have got other things going on. So it's less of the labelling of the specialism and more about if Guppy was visiting them, working out what they need, even arthritis, then they could be flagged to a dance class, a swim class, a walking class. So just to make it much more condition-led rather than, what's the word, activity-led, if that makes sense. Yeah. So
that's great. Thank you.
Slicing the data differently,
Yeah, so there's actually, we're doing a bit of work at the moment on moving more our activity finder, and Will, you might be better placed to discuss this than me, but we do want to make it options to search for condition friendly sessions. So it might be that we're able to add a button where you can flag that your session is neuro friendly, and I think that would be ideal. But I don't know, Will, if you're available to say a few words on that.
Yeah, it's basically something we've been talking about for a long time, and especially when we talk to partners in the health system, something they're very keen for. It's being piloted with our London counterparts, first of all, so they always try it somewhere first before rolling it out in case there's any bugs and issues, that sort of thing. Having said that, it's been being piloted with them for quite a while. So I'd imagine it's a process they're trying to refine, and they're piloting quite small scale, first of all. But essentially, as soon as they have a system that works well, they'll make it an optional addition across the country, and we'll buy straight into that as soon as there's an option, because like I say, every partner we speak to seems to think that would be a really useful tool, and I completely agree with them. I've also just popped into the chat that we last week or the week before, end of the week before last, we launched We're Undefeatable in Hertfordshire, which I won't go into loads of details about now, but essentially it's a local activation of the national We're Undefeatable campaign, but our local activation is specifically looking to upskill local workforces and sessions to make them more inclusive to people that live with various long-term health conditions, and we've got resource available there to help people do that. So if that's of particular interest to anyone, Charlotte's also leading on that bit of work, so she's got lots to do, but do get in touch with her, because we've got that resource there to help people.
Yeah, and I was just thinking, actually, in terms of We're Undefeatable in Hertfordshire and that website, because the condition specific searches is being in the pilot phase at the moment, something that might be quite helpful is when we have our long-term health conditions page on Supporting Herts, which is the link that Will's put in the chat, which is all about We're Undefeatable in Hertfordshire, for those condition-friendly sessions, if people are able to send me their Moving More website link, because the best thing about, well, not the best, one of the good things about Moving More is that you get your own web page essentially, so free marketing. So you send me that web link and I can put that against the condition that it's specifically supported for. I think that might be quite helpful as an option at the moment, Claire and Guppy as well. I think hopefully that will be useful.
Absolutely. And also just to add, where there are examples of good practice like that, to let us to share those as examples of good practice to inspire other people to take similar steps to make their sessions as inclusive as possible. So we can only do that the more we're aware of everything that's going on. So please do keep feeding them in so we can feed them back out again.
Brilliant. Okay, so we're certainly not going to take an hour and a half. I think I'm going to probably take about 5 more minutes of your time. I wanted to just at the end, there we are, it's fine. I wanted to do a little brief overview of using Moving More and how simple and user-friendly it can be. So one option is, if you've already got a booking system, a booking website for your classes, it can be as simple as finding that magic button on the booking platform that opens the data, and it will automatically, they'll be pulled through to movingmore.co.uk. If you're thinking, oh, that might be me, but I'm not sure, you can drop me an email and we'll help you find out. There's a wonderful team of technicians that we're working with who can work with yourself and that booking platform to get that opened up. And then it's easy peasy. Option 2 is you can decide, actually, there's quite a lot of value of having our sessions on these activity finders. There's national activity finders too, and there are condition specific activity finders. So when your data is pulled into an open data source, it is also shared on those national ones as well. Just like the example of the travel industry ones, we see them on all different types of website. It's the same here. So you might see value in that, and you might want to use a open data compliant, is what we call an open data compliant booking system. And again, if you're wondering who that might be, you can get in touch with me and I'll signpost you in the right direction. And the third option, and it's the option I've used myself, is uploading your sessions onto Open Sessions. Now this is a free website that we recommend, and you make yourself an account on Open Sessions. The details of how to do so are on Moving More, and I think Will's popped a link to the chat in the chat of how to do that, how to upload. But Open Sessions is free. You make an account, you upload the details of your session and when it is, where it is, how you can access it. And then you are prompted by email every 6 weeks just to say, click the box and say, yes, this is still happening, or you can edit it. And if you don't click, yes, this is still happening, it will give you a few days notice, but it will come off the system, because we don't want to fall into that trap of the data and the things uploaded become stagnant. So that means you as a social prescriber or an enabler who is using the platform can be confident you're signposting to up-to-date sessions. So Open Sessions is what I've used. I found it simple to use, and I found the email notifications really helpful. So just make sure that whoever's getting those emails, it's going to a monitored inbox, because you don't want them to be forgotten about. So in terms of resources, what's available to you, I have a few thousand of the leaflets that you can see on the right hand side of the screen. So when I send an email to everyone after the session, if you'd like some of those, some copies of those for you in your work, please get back to me and I'll post those to you. As I said, it's free to use for businesses and for customers, and we avoid that stagnation. We also have Live Longer Better in herts.co.uk, where the recording of this session will be uploaded so people can catch up on it. And we've got other upcoming events as well, like next Wednesday, we've got a mental health in physical activity conference, which is free to attend. There's a face-to-face option in Hatfield if you want to come along, meet other colleagues and have a free lunch, or you can join online for the mental health in physical activity conference. And also have a news and blogs section on our website. And I want to fill this with all the good news stories of everything that you're doing. So if you have an event coming up, or if you want to showcase a particularly fantastic class that you've been running, I'll be more than happy to put up a blog of what you've been doing and then share it with our network. So if you're not part of the revolution already and want to join the newsletter, then you can do so on our website. On the homepage, you can just scroll down and then you can pop in your email address, and then you'll be locked in, and I'll keep you forever until you tell me you don't want to be part of it anymore. So that's everything from me today. Thank you all so much for coming. Does anyone have any questions or want to share anything else that they do? Okay, so the final thing is that there's going to be a short survey. This is the first one of these that I've done. It could have been helpful, it could have been not very helpful, but I want to know either way. So if you could fill in that quick survey, please, it'll help me shape the future ones that I do. The goal was to find a bit more out about what's going on locally. So hopefully that's been helpful, but yeah, love your feedback and any future suggestions. I'm going to stop the recording now.